Hey, you're watching GEEKCASTER. This is part 2, Captain America conversation, going into comic retro films, going with that whole kind of taking the old characters and making them new. I mean,
It's
that's
a
kind
mess
of
and jumping around. It's
jumping.
Captain America to Invincible. And we kind of dovetailed onto the Doc Savage Shadow conversation.
Yeah,
But
I thought
yeah,
Shadow was pretty cool. I think I saw it on, like they play old movies randomly on like Showtime or HBO,
Mm.
and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And not knowing, the history behind it, it does make sense that, of course, I like this because that's kind of where Batman got some stuff. Saying.
Mm.
That does make sense, and then that means Doc Savage. There's things about because Superman has a fortress solid, even though Superman is known to like take at least the history. They said that they basically took like the best things out of all the comics that already existed and just put it in one person.
That's what we do though. That's
Yeah.
kind of like what we were saying before. That's kind of the trend of it.
Hmm.
If not that, then certain features of a character that kind of resonated with that writer, they'll put that and splice it into their own work. But yeah, I think it could be interesting if they took the Shadow, Doc Savage, these older kind of like pulp characters, and then made them their own little universe. But the problem with that is the one big problem I think that I would have with that is it becomes now everyone's going to equate that to, well, MCU already did the shared universe. We're sick of shared universes, and we are, but it's like, is it too late to have like a Doc Savage Shadow shared universe thing? Is that we could, but we don't want it to get unjustly collapsed with the new stuff that it was like kind of
Right.
inspired. I think is where I'm going with that.
Because once you do that, now you're also kind of locked in, unless you do a
Yeah.
shared old school which is too much, just too much.
I'm done. I'm sick of the multiverse thing.
Me
You
too.
can make a shared. I'm two ways about it. I'm okay with the idea of like a shared world. If you make a film and it's about one character, then you make a sequel and it's about a completely other, like different character, but they both live in the same world. I like that. That's cool. When there's a whole multiverse of us out there, I'm sick of it already. I don't want to do the multiverse stuff anymore.
Right.
I'm done. So, mm.
And also, it's a way to be a lazy writer. Oh, I want to add this thing. Well, it conflicts with the history. It's the multiverse.
Universe. It's a whole multiple universal thing. You can just do it all over again. Like,
Right.
no, man. No.
My character died. I would bring him back because he's from the other multiverse.
Yeah.
Multiverse.
That's what they're doing to Black Panther now. I'm like, cool, but like, why couldn't we have done that earlier? If it was a whole multiverse thing, why do we wait so long? But anyway.
So that's how they're doing it.
Yeah, it's funny because I heard there had been no plans to do Black Panther again. Period. He died. You guys got his child. That's all you deserve. Black Panther's dead. I'm like, okay, cool. But now they're talking, we'll bring him back. We shall see. That's not even necessarily like a sign of good things to come because they could make another one and it could suck just like the second one did. So,
right.
Second one sucked, and then I was like, all right, we can be done, I guess. But if you bring him back,
well, that's interesting because some people really like the second one. I saw there was a lot of issues with it personally, but I thought there were issues with the first one. Even though I enjoyed it, it was monumental. It became this so much part of pop culture and was so anticipated. And I've said
the first one isn't perfect at all, but I think in a league of films where it's like, look, y'all, we've never seen a movie quite like this.
Right.
Out of all the films before it, out of all the superhero movies made before it, you've never seen a sci-fi action adventure rooted that closely tied to like African culture and stuff. You hadn't seen it yet.
Right.
So I'm like, no, it did its own thing. The plot wasn't any more or less ridiculous than anything else we'd seen in Marvel at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that's complaining, well, Wakanda, why does it exist? I'm like, same reason why Asgard exists. It's fiction.
Right.
However they get down, they have their own trial by combat, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, okay, well, neither does the idea of nepotism because Odin wants one of his degenerate sons to rule things.
Right.
But we don't complain that much when it comes to Thor.
Right.
Second one, though,
which is just an African character, but we're not going to go that on. We'll do that on another.
That could be another show, but again, not to jump too far onto that wagon. It's like the second one I thought sucked completely because it had none of the stakes. The character circumstance was off. We were already still hurt because Chadwick Boseman had died. So like the vibe of it was just off. And then as a character, Shuri was written poorly, y'all. She was not written well. She's not a hero in that joint. Barely has to try in that movie, and we're supposed to be calling her a hero. Like, nah.
What do you mean, like, because it was just kind of handed to her kind of thing? Or?
Everything is handed to her, and the rest she Mary Sue's her way through it. She takes the one plant. The plant is destroyed. They give them their abilities. The plant is gone. I'll just replicate it. And she just does it. Right? When she gets the Black Panther powers, all she has to do. Remember how M'Baku was trying to kill T'Challa in the first one?
Mm-hmm.
What does she have to do in the second one to get his respect? Well, the fact you can't remember is not very good. I'll tell you. She arm wrestled him a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
You see that kind of hackneyed, we don't care, let's just girl power through it? It was prep, bro. It was lame.
Gotcha.
Name her, whack. No amor. I'm like, come on, bro. I have no love for the surface dwellers. My name is No Amor. Like, come on. No.
Yeah, that was,
Whack.
Yeah.
Whack. But we might get something good if they try it again. We might get something good.
I did now remember. Void. It's not that memorable. Part two.
Yeah.
I mean, besides that big battle and climbing up and randomly going underwater, and there's a lot of things I didn't like. I also because they mix comic book stuff with an actual historical the lowercase g God.
I'm trying to think exactly.
Yeah, I gotta I'll send that to you. I don't want to say it wrong and people comment, but there's they mixed some religious thing in there, which was
okay. All right.
It was lazy because you didn't really create it. You just kind of took. Well, let me take this here. Let me quickly write this here. Like you said, let me make sure. Like, okay, all right, boom, we have a film. It's like
it seemed kind of like cobbled together. And to be somewhat fair, none of us were like expecting to not have Chadwick Boseman for the second film, so I understand that.
True. Right.
But even if they were going to have to then use the cast that they had left, they misappropriated that cast. Angela Bassett was still around. She's still around, period. But she was still around to play that character, is what I mean.
Right.
And then you had Denai Guerrera, who was the other one, the Dora Milaje leader chick. And then you had what's-her-bucket as Shuri. If it was going to be about the women who were left after T'Challa dies taking over for Wakanda, they needed to break that up to where Denai's character wore the suit, Shuri was the scientist, because that's what she was in the first one, and the mom, T'Challa's mom, remains as the queen. She's the political face.
Right.
Then it's them kind of mitigating this kind of three-pronged thing
that would have been brilliant
during an invasion.
That would have been
this whole let's just put it all on Shuri's back was dumb.
And it could have been, I hate to say it this way, so don't react. Just hear me out. They could have had this whole girl power triangle, but in a way that would not have been annoying.
It would have made sense. I think it would have been a little more organic than let's just make the little frail sister the new main character.
And I got something else in there. So you do this whole story, do that whole thing. There's no Black Panther. So they won, but they won by the skin of their teeth. But they're like, what are we going to do with the country now? Da, da, da. Well, guess what? As a son. You see what I'm saying?
They did that. It kind of did that anyway at the end, but yeah.
But it would have meant more.
It would have had more meaning in the idea that...
Who cares if he had a son? She's wearing the suit now, so it doesn't matter. He had a son.
That's kind of the whole erase men, descender men argument. It doesn't matter. TJ's around, T'Challa Jr.'s around, but who really cares? His life kind of doesn't really matter.
It doesn't. It
Not
didn't.
to be controversial, but it's like, oh yeah, TJ's around, he's in the back, but he doesn't really matter because we got all this girl boss stuff going on now. Like, screw you guys two, back at you. That's why we don't care. But they could have made that work. And again, I think, unless I'm misremembering in the movie, Denai's care. What is her name, dude? I don't want to call her Denai. I don't want to call her the bald-headed demon, because that's what M'Baku calls her. I don't want to call her the bald-headed demon. What was her name?
Okay, hold on. I want to say it nice. I want to say it right too.
Yeah, I don't want to mess up her name. She is not the general anymore.
Denai Guerrera.
That's her actual name, but that's not her character name.
Okay.
Okoye, right? Okoye. Yeah, there we go. She was the general of the Dora Milaje, right?
Oh, by the way, Denai, beautiful in person. It's great meeting you. I met her on my birthday.
You met who? Denai Guerrera?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Was she cool?
Yeah.
All right, cool. But yeah, her character loses the spot of general, right? Pretty early on in the film. And it would then be, you could thematically work that to where the Queen then comes back to her and says, you're no longer the general of the Dora Milaje. You're now going to be the Black Panther. You're of service to Wakanda still.
Actually,
you're not a general, now you're the Black Panther.
Right. Just and she could have been like, listen, you're only going to do this for a short amount of time. Or let them fight. No Black Panther. Let them survive and fight and do what they got to do without the suit. That would have been interesting because again,
it ups the scales. But my thing is, if you're going to call it a Black Panther movie and not have a Black Panther suit or sequence in it, you're kind of
teetering. You're teetering.
Yeah, you're kind of teasing your audience. I would say don't do that.
Right. But if this ever happens again in the future, you can't present us a random heir at the end of the movie and it not mean anything because it didn't really. There was nothing there to like, okay, it was good for the real world, knowing that here's this guy that passed away, this wonderful actor that did a great job, and it was like this idea of new life. You know, here's an end and a beginning. So in that way, it was deep. But in reference to telling a story and separating real life from fantasy land, and that's what I want to put out there, folks. Like, we get it, and I think during the moment of watching it, it was a release for all the fans in a spiritual kind of way. But when you treat this as a film, just as a storytelling, a way to tell a story, I think that's what I just want to be clear to the fans. Like, we do appreciate what was done in the time that it was done, and we get it, and we get what you felt. But watch that movie again. Watch it today. I can't watch it again.
It's not that good, but there are moments that are kind of cool.
They're cool.
Particularly, we can add the real life stuff in it too. The funeral scene for him.
Beautiful.
Just because knowing that they're doing this for also the actor, for me, I'm kind of like choked up. I'm like, dang, that was actually kind of nice, y'all. Yeah. It's sad.
Right.
Like a funeral it's going to be sad, but at the same time, we got what you said, that kind of closure, that catharsis. Right. We, as the audience, we kind of got to vicariously have our funeral for Chadwick Boseman and that Black Panther character. Right. We didn't want to lose him, but we did, and the film kind of gives us that vantage.
And that I have to say to the director and the cinematographer and the people that did all the costumes, hats off, brilliant, thank you. But now that we put that away,
it's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's TJ. He shows up, and I'm like, who's little scruffer kid? Who's that? Who's he? That's the son. And I'm like, oh, okay, TJ. All right, that's a thing. It has no bearing on the plot or anything whatsoever. If it had been like Namor or one of the people of one of the Atlanteans is trying to kill TJ. Know that he's the son of T'Challa, and it's like, no, we're gonna nix that. Now he's part of it. He's in the mix. But him just showing up, hi. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? You have no bearing on the plot, but what's up?
Where was he raised? He was raised in a Spanish country or French?
He was somewhere. I don't even know.
I think it was Haiti.
Haiti? Might have been Haiti.
Right.
But he just pops up. And I'm like, oh, is he the kid? I'm like, yeah, all right. We got this there's another one out there. But he's not going to be the main character in the next one, so it's irrelevant.
He's too young.
He's too young. He's 6. Like, all right, cool. Glad he's in it, but that has nothing to do with the film. So it is what it is.
I want some hate mail. I want some hate. No.
If you're gonna send hate mail, then you need to really thicken that skin up, Puddin', because we aren't being mean. We aren't. It's film talk. We're being critical without being mean.
Oh, I want more Winston Duke, just in general.
I like Winston Duke. Not even pigeonholing him to like that M'Baku thing.
Right.
Because M'Baku's a very different guy. He's an outright villain in the comics, and they made him kind of just one of Wakanda's best heroes in the film.
Right.
He's just one of their best guys, which is fine.
And he got more screen time in part 2, but I don't feel that it was almost like comic relief.
He was there as a comic relief.
And I didn't appreciate that. I wanted more for him.
Also found comic relief, and it's like, all right, Winston Duke is good. I kind of like M'Baku. He's that homie now.
Yeah.
But like, what else can Winston Duke do where he's not relegated to just that guy?
Did you see him in Fall Guy?
No, I didn't see him in Fall Guy.
Did you see Fall Guy?
I didn't see Fall Guy.
Surprisingly, again, I don't know if you ever saw anything from the original. Ever seen any of the TV land of the original? Like, it's Fall Guy, right? The stunt. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, the name Fall Guy sounds familiar, but
I'm going to make sure I get that correct. But it was yeah. Fall Guy, and there's
that's another reboot from
yeah. So it's I think it was an '80s show, and let me find the original. So the series was from 81 to 86, and then they just in 2024 made a action comedy movie. It was surprisingly good.
It sounds like it's in the same vein of like, what were those other 80s shows? Miami Vice. The other cop show. It sounds like it's when they tried to do that, the reboot of those old, like Starsky and Hutch, I think they tried to make for some.
And that was so ridiculous. This one is actually good.
Tried to make a remake of that. Yeah. It was.
Well, see, this one,
which was actually kind of good.
This one, I think this was really good because they didn't try to poke fun of the. Well, my mic's getting louder. They didn't try to poke fun at the original. We're making fun of the original, but we're doing something now. Like, it wasn't corny like that.
Okay.
It kind of lived on its own. So if you just saw this, you're fine. Versus the other one kind of rely on the whole nostalgia.
It's relying on people who want to have watched the original. And I know that lots of people know not to do that now because there's so many younger people that won't know what the hell you're talking about.
So what's the point, right?
If you made a film that's just self-referential and kind of poking fun at itself, your audience is going to be clueless for the most part.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. But they did a really good job. I was like, oh, wow. And who was in that?
A few times.
You got Emily Blunt, Ryan Gosling, Lee Majors made like a little cameo. Winston Duke was in there doing his thing. Stephanie Sue was in there. I think that's how you say her name. Hopefully I said that. As HSU. So I don't know if that's who?
Sue? Might be Sue?
Might be Sue.
The H might be silent. I don't know. Don't come for me in the comments if it isn't. But yeah.
Yeah, she did a really good job. Hopefully see her in more stuff. You saw some interesting new faces And I like that. I'm tired of seeing the same actors over and over again. Like now they're talking about I don't want to say it because it sounds like hate, so I'll just say it. There's been all these online things of who's going to play Storm, and everyone that's ever been mentioned, no. Just find a no-name person that could really act. Just stop.
Every person. I'm gonna be a little fair. There was one actress who they did show me who I said I could see the look, but I haven't seen her in anything else, so I couldn't tell you. She was in the Jurassic Park movie, the new one. Didn't see it. Have no desire to see it. I saw one picture of her that made me go, yeah, she might pull off an Aurora.
Right.
But aside from that, nah, make it someone fresh, please.
Please, someone fresh.
Nobody else that I've seen, I give a crap about in the way of playing that character. Please, no. Just make it someone new.
Right.
And for God's sakes, nobody named Halle Berry. She's still alive. She could play Storm again. No. No.
They did her so dirty. I don't think she would.
She was whack as hell the first time. No. Oh, and the second time because they brought her back. No. New blood, please. New blood. No. I'm sorry. No, dude. Not sorry for this. Nah. Halle Berry's still alive.
She did. She's showing herself to be a really good action. She's done some stuff. I was like, I'm impressed.
Last thing I saw her in anything in was John Wick.
Okay.
She was the chick with the dogs, and she was. You know what? Let me not. Let's not.
What about the movie where she was boxing?
She was boxing?
Yeah.
So $1 Million Baby with Halle Berry, that would have been a hard pass for me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Give me a headache. I'm laughing so much. Oh man. Drew, you're a hot mess. You're a hot mess.
I'm going to keep it clean. I'm going to stop.
No worries. We got like 7 minutes left. It's all good. There's that film I wanted to bring up. You know, so many things are just going straight to streaming, which is another interesting thing in the world that we live in.
Because the films that kind of crash and burn or fizzle out fast, they just relegate them to streaming. It's like the new video store of our time. If things don't pass, they just get crapped over to streaming.
So was it Jamie? And like it came out of nowhere. Jamie Foxx did a film. I'm gonna get the name of this. Where is it? Jamie. And Cameron Diaz is in it.
Okay.
And she did good. She was kicking some butt. She did good. Like you know the thing is when, and I think you brought it years ago with the superhero movies, and you know you see these ladies that weigh about as much as your finger, and they're beating these men 50 times bigger than them, and you're like, okay. Oh, you're hiring these models to pretend they could fight. Cameron, she did her thing. I think she did a really good job.
I've seen examples of where it works. We're talking about like action movies that feature, females that can actually look like they're capable in a fight and can actually like hold their own. There was the one Charlize Theron joint that she did.
Right. Okay.
Remember this one? It was like in the 80s. That one, it's brutal because you actually see her get hit. You see the bruises. Right. You can make that kind of character archetype work where you got like the 100-pound something odd chick. Mm-hmm. She has vicious, cute, like close quarter combat skills. She can shoot. She can stab. But she's still getting hit. That's my thing.
Right.
Like, you got to toe that line and show that the character's got some physicality to her, and when needed, take a hit.
Well, this was called Back in Action. You know, pretty standard story. Two people, kind of FBI secret agent kind of stuff, and they change their lives, and then we got sucked back in. I mean, it's a classic thing. We've seen it time and time again. And guess what? We're going to keep seeing that time again. But it's funny enough. It's wholesome enough. Like it really, it's a very well rounded, all family movie, but not enough where it's annoying. There is one part, I would say 10 minutes into the script, where they made the kids too annoying. And that kind of took you out of the film. Like, where are we going? What's going on? You're not telling, like that kind of thing. And
it sounds like standard adult writing children in chaotic situations in which, kids are they're going to be annoying.
Right. So it kind of, but minus that, good film. Good film.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said it's Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz?
Yeah, it just came out. Like,
okay, and they're both spies, or they're both operatives or something?
They're a couple.
Oh, that's probably why we didn't hear about it.
But all right, and one more before we go, some shade. One of Them Days, you saw that?
That name sounds familiar, but I haven't seen it. Who's in it?
It's SZA and Keke Palmer.
Oh, no.
It's basically Friday. I mean, I didn't see it, but from watching the trailer, it seems like, okay, this is Friday. We've seen this.
I think I saw like a trailer of it. I started to see a trailer of it, and then I'm like, it just seems like Friday, just 2.0 with Keke Palmer, and then I didn't care.
Right. If you know anyone that has seen it, definitely let me know. And if it's, again, that's what trailers are for. Like, you just show me a trailer, and I'm like, no, not interested.
That's what they're for, man. You make a judgment on whether or not you want to see the film off of that trailer. You could,
right? I mean,
or you could just chance it.
Say it again.
Or you could just chance it. Just take a blind watch and see if you like it or if you hate it.
Well, next show we got to talk about this one. It's still in the theater. It's called Companion.
With dude from The Boys. He plays Wee Huey in The Boys. He's been in a couple weird looking films I think I got to check out though. Companion looks like a good one.
Companion was good.
And then there's the other one. He plays the guy that he can't feel pain. You see that one?
Oh, no.
I think it's Novocaine. I think it is.
Interesting.
I think it's called Novocaine.
Okay.
Yeah, Companion and Novocaine with the same dude from The Boys, whatever his name is.
Okay.
Some Jack Quaid. There he is. Yeah, right. Jack Quaid.
So there you have it, folks. I mean, when you watch our show, I mean, we talk about things in the past and commentary overall, but we're also like, listen, money's tight, and I don't want you to waste your money on a bad film. Now, you make up your own mind, but I'm going to tell you if it's worth it or not. And, back in action. If you're cooking, hanging out at home, streaming it, why not? It's family-friendly thing. There's some surprise guests, some old school stars that is like, oh, that's pretty cool, they're in that. But if you're going to spend your money, Companion was good. Companion is the energy and the ride that Blink Twice should have been, but wasn't at all.
You had to utter its name, didn't you?
I know, because I want people to be...
utter its friggin' name.
Save your life, don't watch it.
or do, and then understand. Then, all right, if you need to watch the movie,
right,
watch it, then come back and find the episode where we chop it up.
Right.
I'll put it that way, because I was nice to it, I think. It's hard to gauge. I try to, like, with these things. But with that one, bro, nah.
No. All right, well, we're out of here. Thank you so much. Gave you two episodes of food for thought, and that's all it is. And you do what you want to do with that food for thought.
Oh. I'm actually going to make some right now. You made me hungry.